Hello and welcome to another episode of Mercurial Gems. I'm V.
This is Wilson. I'm Jen.
And today we are going to be continuing our sister sign series, and we are covering Leo and Aquarius.
Yes, so as I've shared in all of the other episodes, definitely pull up your birth chart, see if you have any Leo and Aquarius planets, but if you don't, still check and see what houses you actually have Leo and Aquarius in, and also see what is in your 5th house and your 11th house, because those 5th house is going to hold some Leo undertones and 11th house is going to hold some Aquarius undertones. And we will dive into some of the alchemy. So with all the sister signs, it's so nice to learn what each sign does for each other, because you can always use the opposite energy to help propel you out of stuck places. So it's always good just to see how it kind of plays out in your own birth chart. So we'll talk about the energies of both and then share some of how it manifests for our charts. But Leo is where we can start. Leo is a very strong energy in your chart. Even if you don't have Leo planets, the Leo section that you have is going to just be a louder energy, because Leo is a fixed fire sign and it is the ruler sign of the sun. So the sun is obviously a very loud energy in your chart. And so even where you have Leo is going to hold that vibrant, bright side. And fixed signs, so both Leo and Aquarius are fixed, as well as Taurus and Scorpio. And fixed signs really stabilize the season. So they hold the energy of like full embodiment of something. I think fixed signs always take longer to process because they stay with something longer than the other signs will. So there is an inherent stubbornness you're always going to find with all of the fixed signs. And Leo especially gets that reputation for just being like really self-focused and can come off even selfish is a very big shadow. Drama is a stereotype. But let's talk about this, and I'm gonna defend my Leo case because I have a Leo moon, and some of the stereotypes of Leo actually really frustrate me because what is said and what it feels like feels very different to me. So Leo, being that fixed fire, you really hold great passion and vision and love and heart in everything. And some of the drama of Leo just comes because fire that is constantly blazing internally, it holds so much energy. And it feels like no one's quite grasping the intensity at which we are feeling something. It's not to make everyone suffer with us. It's just like, if you knew how big this felt, like it just feels so big. And so it's so frustrating when it's kind of seen as an attention mode, because all it is just like, I am going to be overwhelmed by this energy. It would be lovely if someone could be with me. If not, I'm just gonna be loud and big about it because this is intense as hell. That's like how it feels to experience sun energy. If you have strong Leo placements, you're gonna hold that like craving just for validation. I think the validation comes because the feeling is so large. And if you like completely can't stand Leo and it drives you nuts, still figure out where you have Leo for this episode, because you will still manifest that Leo energy somewhere. And I do think Leo gets some pretty strong hate at times on the internet for just some of the shadow stereotypes. Leo holds like a really strict vision of your inner child. It helps you to see things through the lens of play, creativity, self-expression. It just has a palpable sort of warmth to it when it's in its higher alchemy. And I think Leo just needs to always be out channeling creative. Any fire placement, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, needs to output the fire. And Leo, if you don't do that, that's when that shadow side gets a little uglier. And then for sharing, so an example for myself, I have Leo in my 12th house, and that's a very tricky house to have Leo. For the Virgo risings, we're hanging strong. But I definitely have like such big heart and deep creative connection to my dream state, my visions, my spiritual practices. I think I really get like full channeled pictures of what I need to create, and then I just like go and create it.
Mhm.
It always comes through as like visions of deep channeling.
For Jen, she does need like alone time sometimes. So like Jen will be like, I'm gonna go meditate by myself, and I'm like, Leo.
Yeah, and you feel your feelings like really, because it's in the 12th house for me, I feel my feelings alone very way stronger than when I'm with other people, because I really sponge other people's stuff very easily with that 12th house. And then for my actual Leo house, we shared this in the Capricorn and Cancer episode, but I have Capricorn in my Leo house, but I still take all of my fun, play, creative expression, all that Leo energy is still so present. I just do it in a very Cap Daddy sort of way. So that's how mine plays.
Yeah, so Leo for me, Leo is in my 9th house, and I don't have any like normal placements in Leo, but I do have my vertex in Leo. So when I say I love a Leo, I mean I love a Leo. The 9th house is that higher learning, higher education, travel, whimsy.
Yeah.
Whimsy. I was like, maybe I'm just putting that. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm whimsical.
Leo coming through the 9th house.
Yeah. So when we travel, Jen shared when we did our Taurus episode about her 9th house with Taurus. For me, when we travel, I am like, let's get content. I'm literally such a little potato in my day-to-day, and I love it that way. Like, I like being cozy over cute. Like, I did that in my early 20s. I'm here to be comfortable in what I'm wearing as I move through the day. But when I travel, like, I want to look cute. Like, I want to make sure that I can take pictures
You love
and
dress
like
up.
them. Yeah, I like dressing up. I like, and even if we're not like traveling, but maybe we're just going to an event in town, I love the fact that Jen is strong Leo, so is her sister. So when the Leos commit to a fit, commit to the bit, like I get to play along with that, and it feels so good to me.
Mm-hmm.
I also love keeping strong Leo energy around. Obviously, I just said Jen and her sister, but also my best friend all have strong Leo placements. So for me, like I learn so much from them. They make me feel so good just being able to witness them. Like, I love a Leo. That is my spiel.
I will say where your Leo kind of shadow plays in too, because it's funny. That Leo like drama, when you feel like you don't know enough, it comes from that, like you get so proud.
Aggressive.
You get proud of what you know, and you love teaching. Like, no, I got it. Like, let me share this. Because when you're like excited about sharing something, it's like a Leo light up. I love when you're in that mode. But you get wounded and hurt when your knowledge doesn't feel like it got respected. You go into a Leo melodrama for sure.
Like you saying that, like all of my knowledge that I like to share has that like creativity element to it. Yeah. It's like I got really into herbology a couple years ago, so if anyone's having an ailment or just an off day, I love showing off my knowledge of like, oh, you're cramping, let's get you some like raspberry leaf tea. Oh, you probably need some hibiscus, and you know, just like little things like that. Like I love that. But then also too, on the flip side, like I'm so crafty, so like people often are like asking me about like my crafts and stuff. I love that so much.
And when someone though comes in and is a know-it-all and won't hear your opinion, your Leo will fire. Like that's where I see it. And you don't even have a Leo planet.
Well, and I think I always attribute it to my Sag, because even the 9th house has that Sag undertone. I'm a Sagittarius rising with Jupiter on the ascendant, so it comes out so loud. So I always think it's my Sag, but you're right. It is that Leo undertone for sure, because there's a pride element to it that I just don't. When we do, so sometimes we learn like dances, and I can't, my brain just can't function the way your brain functions in doing it. Thus far, it is not wrong the way that Jen learns how to do the choreography, but I know, I get Leo about it, and I'm like, I don't understand how you're doing this. Like, that's not right.
I appreciate. I also like go very Leo in my own head, being in the 12th house. Like I just disappear into my own melodrama. That's another very common way it presents
very
for me.
real.
I just am all bubbly and then I'm gone. And I am in a Leo world of pain internally.
At all times.
12th house.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is your partner is an energy sponge, so even though you're not sharing, I still feel it all.
You just go in the psychic realm and talk to
yeah.
me, which is
I'm
so
like,
lovely.
I'm like, hey baby, you wanna bring cuddle? My 5th house is my Aries house. We went in depth in this in the Aries episode, but again, passion, creativity has some fire behind it. So I used to be so bad at this back in the day. I was like a fiend at Joann's and Michael's, and I would go and I'd be so inspired and I'd buy all this extra shit and I'd be like, I'm gonna do all these crafts, and then I would do the thing I really like went to the store for, and then I would never circle back. So for years I had literally like buckets of crafts.
The 5th house is the house of hobbies.
Buckets of crafts of these like want hobbies that I just haven't. Either I dabbled in it for 10 seconds because Aries was really good at launching but not following through, so I may have played with it once. It may have been more complicated than I thought, and then I was like, okay, fuck that. And then like, you know, so there's either like half done crafts or never been touched crafts. Luckily over the years I've like thinned it out. I gave the crafts away to people who like got to use them, so it wasn't for nothing. I've learned to kind of hone it in, and like if I want to do crafts, like I go to the store that moment to get the craft that I'm working on, and when I'm done with that craft, I either try to find ways to use the leftovers, because I do a lot of like fiber art, so I either try to find a way to utilize what I already have before investing in another craft, or I wait until I have a purposeful craft to do with a timeline, a deadline, so I can't Aries it. But I still love, there's still a fiery undertone to all of my crafting, and there's still a passion there. It's just, it can be really fleeting sometimes.
Yeah, so that's the Leo channel, and I do think alchemy, I said for Leo, is just really consistently giving yourself output, so that your heart gets to just like light up and it doesn't feel like it gets stifled. Aquarius, being Leo's sister sign, I think this sister sign combination is arguably one of the funniest to actually like witness in the wild, because Aquarius doesn't seem linked to Leo until you like know that, because Leo loves attention to go to it. Aquarius loves attention to go to it, but it loves attention to go for it not wanting attention and being weird and on the outside. It still wants attention.
We don't know you.
It just wants.
You're unpredictable.
Oh my gosh!
Oh
what
my
a
gosh.
weirdo! Oh my!
I
can't
how
even
unexpected!
Look.
I would have never expected this.
They love to be play offbeat, and it's the same drama. It's just quiet and different, and you like if you start trying to tell an Aquarius you know who they are,
you don't.
You will not succeed.
They will shut down.
They will shut down. They do the melodrama of Leo's like sister sign will come out, because Aquarius does not like to be boxed in. They want to be seen unconventional. They are like usually my most resistant to actually like studying and learning astrology, and it's always very funny to me because the stereotypes for things just feel like restraints.
No, truly, I think every time we interact with a strong Aquarius, I literally will be like, I'll say all my piece, I'll say everything, and then I'll go, but I don't really know you, so I'm probably wrong in every account, because like honestly no one can predict you like that.
And then they get a little thing.
And then they open up.
So Aquarius is a fixed air sign, so it still holds that blocked in energy, but it also is an air sign, so it has a lot of thinking power, and Aquarius needs so much processing time. If you are talking to Aquarius in real time, whatever you get back is nowhere near the processing layer they will have on that subject as they will a month later. And they will stay on something and think it through for you. They are not always the type to circle back to something, but you can guarantee that they have thought out your stuff for you. It's very helpful to learn Aquarius is fixed, and it's also air, but I think it's always beautiful to hear Aquarius's processing. I really crave giving like space for Aquarius to tell me where they're at, because they don't change opinion easily, but they also will look into what you give them in a very thorough way. So I always appreciate that about Aquarius. And Aquarius is the sign that rules over Uranus. And it craves so bad that same self-expression Leo gives. Aquarius craves that everyone in the collective is allowed to be their weird self. They are one of the strongest humanitarian signs. I would say Aquarius and Sagittarius do more for like collective change than other signs. Aquarius wants everyone's weirdo to have space. They're such collectors of niche people, and like they have friends that are so eclectic and different than the norm, and they just really know how to gather people into a space where you would say like, I would never end up with this group. I would never think this group of people would all like work in this way. And Aquarius has like a magic of being able to get people to spaces they wouldn't normally go, but also to see how all of us intertwine and really do want the same thing, even below the surface. So they're like really, really good networkers. I also think Aquarius tends to be a little bit more introverted because they need more of that processing time, but then they also can be the most social. They just like really like to see their people thriving all together. And they were the ones that got everyone there. Then they don't need to be the center of attention. They just like to create the scenes. Versus Leo likes to run the show to make sure the gathering goes according to plan. They play off each other really beautifully. But yeah, there's a rebellion to Aquarius. It cares about the future and where we're going and what it's going to look like, and knows how to like think and process ahead. For me, I have Saturn in Aquarius. My group within like 2.5 years, that was our Saturn placement. And I have really learned a lot about Aquarius energy. Wherever you have Saturn, you're going to learn a lot about that. But I was so scared to let out my weird, unconventional side. I think as a little kid, I lived in my Leo and was very self-expressive. I then think I got very self-conscious because of how little I actually knew, and that Aquarius kind of mode kicked in of like, I need to go into deep study to understand like what I don't know. And I was very scared to accidentally like let out a version of myself that was very wrong. Like I remember like having really strong consciousness about like, oh, like I'm very behind in what I've like learned, and I don't want to like teach or expose the wrong thing. I also would like, I was raised evangelical Christian. I'd let out something and then realize it didn't land with the group. And I never wanted to make groups of people feel uncomfortable. I wanted everyone to feel so good. So like seeing that my stuff was causing like dissonance was like so Saturn Aquarius. And my Saturn return was like really made me circle back to owning all that I was. Like I had to definitely move deeper through wounds of like growing up queer, not embracing that like side of myself enough. Like I did, but in very closeted ways. I had to like re-review all the things that make me unique and different that the world really needs, and make sure I'm like standing in that. So Saturn definitely taught me how to expose that side of myself. And Aquarius for me actually lands in my 6th house. So it's the house of mind, body, spirit, routines. And I help share unique ways to do body hacks. And I literally created posture TikTok and taught people how to do these niche things for their weird bodies that don't follow normal norms, which is the most Aquarius 6th house. I really have channeled.
No, she literally
Aquarius.
was like PT, but the real answer is squishmallows.
Yeah, I became like squishmallow ergonomic. If that's not Aquarius 6th house,
Well,
I don't really
you
know
know.
what is. And then my actual 11th house is in the sign of Cancer, and I really do turn a bunch of weirdos into my family.
Yeah.
I become like best friends even.
We have the best weirdo little family.
And yeah, and I love them. I also think I like very much when I hear like the live stories of people like at my nursing home and stuff, like whenever I meet like the elderly people, like I just immediately feel like I am a part of their family and love to hear like their niche stories. We also have really created a very soulful community and family.
That is so eclectic. It is not, there's no cookie cutter here.
Absolutely.
Unique across the board.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Aquarius is in my 3rd house, and we talked about this a little bit. I have Uranus in my 3rd house, so I just naturally have a little weirdo in the way that I speak. I think when I was younger, I was really insecure about this, to be honest. Like, I understood that the things I said either made people uncomfortable, or they literally would say, V, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, that's okay. And I just keeping on, move from it, right? Or over time, as I got older, I got like way quieter and I just wouldn't share anything. And now I'm like in this, like, Pluto is now on my natal Uranus. So I am in an age of like, you know what? I say good. It might be weird, but it's shit you need to hear.
It also like breaks the matrix and is like so powerful. Like
it's shit you need to hear.
It's things that also like make you face layers of discomfort. You're such a
which is why
disruption.
people would disconnect. It's because it wasn't anything to do with me, and I do think they did understand what I was saying, but in order to really hear what I was saying, they would have to face themselves in a way they weren't ready to face themselves. So like, that's not a me problem, that's a you problem.
Also, I see it, so having Uranus and Aquarius like you do, like you not only think differently, like you didn't fit into like the normal system of education or any of the stuff very well. It was very different for you, but you also like in your immediate environment, you're such a disruptor by how you present and live and think and process. But you've lived out that expression even in like the way you dress, the way you do come off like very Aquarius in the way you...
No, I realize it's so weird that I would go to my guidance counselor the week before school gave you your schedules in high school, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's when they start putting everyone in classes. And I would sit down with my guidance counselor and I would be like, listen, I want to have this teacher's English class at 8 a.m. And then I want to have this teacher's math class a 4th period. And honestly, actually, I think math is better for Monday, Wednesday, Friday than Tuesday, Thursday. So actually, if we could do that opposite, that would be really great. And because my freshman year, I tried to do that to her after she made schedules. It was a whole clusterfuck, but I still went around and fixed my own schedule. I realized no one else was doing that. Mm-hmm. That was just me. But I knew. I was like, if you want me to succeed, this is what I need. Mm-hmm. And at first they thought I was doing it for friends, but then when I showed up and I was like, okay, now that you haven't had anyone scheduled, this is who I need and why. And she was like, oh, I think in her head, she's like, okay, I get it. You're just different little dude. When I went to her in my senior year and was like, I want to dual enroll with the college, she signed me up for the college so fast. Like, she helped me so quick. She was like, amazing. Someone else deal with your schedule.
Yeah, and for where V has Aquarius and the 11th house for you being Libra, one of the things I so see in your stories that feels like so Libra Aquarius blend is like you got famous on the internet for being a cosplayer, which is so like 11th house to join like a cosplay niche community, but you did it in a Libra way because you dressed yourself up, you had like excellent makeup, and you made your own costumes.
Which was very like 5th house Leo energy blend too, was like I loved creating my own costumes versus buying them off, because I was like baller on a budget, so it wasn't just like, oh, look at this cool ass costume, but like I also made it with $20 worth of fabric.
You've joined a lot of communities that do enhance some like Venetian thing. Like you definitely you were in the theater, like you did theater kid, you did dance, you did cosplay, you did social media.
Like I went from that to like witch talk on accident. I learned the algorithm can switch your niche so fast. And then that's when my third house engaged and was like, oh no, I have to tell them things. And like Aquarius does need more time to process. We also have siblings. Both of us have siblings with Aquarius moon placements. And I think that, at least for me and my little Aquarius moon, I remember growing up, before I knew astrology, I would get so mad that I felt like he would check out in the middle of us having a conversation. And I'd be like, I am pouring my heart and soul
You're
to
Leo,
you.
ninth house too. You're like, I am teaching you something.
I'm literally trying to save you from this hellscape that we are living. And you are just gone. And then when years and years and years later, when I learned our astrology, I called him at work and I was like, I'm really sorry. I realize now that you have just been processing the mass amounts of information I'm giving you at all times. And I've just been a bitch about it. Yeah. And he was like, thank you. Because he doesn't circle back. That was one thing Jen said earlier in the episode, is that like Aquarius won't always circle back, but they've thought about it. And I can see it now that I give him space. Like I drop my nuggets. I try to reel back because that third house does have Gemini undertones and I am a Gemini Mercury. So I know I can give a lot. So I try to reel back for my Aquarius moons when I'm like conscious of it, and I give the important facts and then I let them go simmer. And that's been a lot more helpful versus expecting them to show up in the conversation with me, which is where my Leo ninth house gets offended.
Yeah. So for alchemy and homework, depending on like what signs you kind of have within it, like even thinking of your ninth house to third house, like if your Leo gets really dramatic about like, I'm trying to teach something, I don't feel like I'm being heard, it's a time to go into third house Aquarius processing, you know? And for me, with my 6th house and 12th house being the Leo Aquarius energy, if I don't take care of my mind, body, spirit, my subconscious gets dark and crazy so fast. And if I also like spend too much time alone, 12th house, and I'm not of service to other people, that can be a dark channel, and I have to find the balance between
It's a different dark.
So it's all about the alchemy between the two. And I do think Leo and Aquarius hold really big energies with the sun and Uranus being the 2 planets, and just how revolutionary those 2 energies can be and how they shift and change stuff. So it's really just good to find your people and have outlets for expression, and have people that get your expression. Plug into groups that help you to channel that out. And you'll kind of know what kind of groups to go into based on that like 11th house or wherever you do have that strong Aquarius, because it tells you like what you need as an output. Did you just have a light bulb moment?
I did just have a light bulb moment. Jen, being her 6th house Aquarius, like she has to do that where she tanks. She also has a whole community that she like leads through yoga, and we have these conversations all the time. It's just funny to me.
It's astrology is the gift that keeps on giving. Definitely let us know where you have Leo and Aquarius, and hopefully this helped you connect some dots. If you ever want an astrology reading and want to talk it out, you can always check out my website that's linked below. We appreciate you guys listening to another episode of Mercurial Gems.
We'll see you next time.